Yes, thank you.
Okay, so it works through the cell phone, not the computer.
Oh, so you're not the only one having that trouble, because Arup had the same problem. Good morning, Mr. Shaurya. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning. Pleasure to meet you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm not Tyagi, Mr. Sharon, I'm Tayal. And it's nice speaking to you yesterday.
Hi,
My name is Mrinal. I'll be moderating the session.
Okay.
Good morning to all. Namaskar.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dovalji.
Good morning.
We have Delhi, Singapore, California, and Meenakshi. Where are you right now?
Chicago.
You're in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Shaurya ji, you would be in Delhi or where?
Yes, I'm in Delhi right now.
And Mr. Murthy, you are in?
I am also in Delhi, but I hail from Hyderabad. But I happen to be in Delhi, so I joined from Delhi as of today.
Global summit. Good.
Yeah.
Different timelines. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So Chicago would be very cold, I know.
No, it's actually fine. It's not very cold yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No, people are still doing boating, so it's still good.
No, then.
Fine.
Okay. Where is she? Where is Mrinal? Okay.
He's back now.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm in
It's all yours. I don't know what you're supposed to do this, right?
I'm supposed to only moderate it. You guys have to do the talking.
Hello?
I have to do the asking.
So welcome.
Shauryaji, a very good afternoon. It was a pleasure. Is Shauryaji there?
Yeah, he's there.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, hi Shauryaji. I don't know if you remember, but it was a pleasure to host you at India Harvard Conference in Boston 2 years back.
Yes. That was my last year before the COVID hit. And,
Just before the COVID hit, we'd met up at Harvard Kennedy.
yeah, so it'll remain etched in my memory for that.
I know. But it was a great session. So yes, this one will be another different one. That was on policy. This will be on entrepreneurship.
Okay. I think we're waiting for Mr. Gupta, who is the chief guest. He's not joining us yet.
We're also waiting for the Seaboy team to join. I don't know where they
Good afternoon.
are.
Team is here. We are waiting for the chief guest to join. Our chief guest of the day is Shri Jindal Gupta, chairman from Trident Group.
Thank you.
Yeah. So good afternoon to all of you. Just 1 or 2 minutes.
You want to tell us something about the flow, Mr. Harish? That will help us.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. The entire back-end team is here. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very good, very good. So we're all
Good morning.
The chief guest, so we're good to go. I know the timing is now, and then we have another panel in the afternoon, I guess, around 3 to 4:30 or so. Meenakshi, you have I would say you have the worst time in terms of global timing.
So,
Yes.
dear guest, we are starting with the session. Yeah, Shivani, Dr. Shivani, she will be starting. Yeah, Dr. Shivani, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Shivani Singh. So, I welcome you all to the new session of Tech4seva. So, the topic for this session is Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Technology Development for Futuristic India. Indigenous knowledge feeds the future. It is my great pleasure to heartily welcome you all to this session of Tech4seva, which is being organized by Center for Innovation and Biodesign, jointly with Vigyan Bharati and Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. For this session, we have Shri Rajendra Gupta as our chief guest. Sir will be joining us soon. He is a businessman and the chairman of Trident Group. He has been appointed as chairman Board of Governors at the one of leading institute of North India, Punjab Engineering College. He is the chairman of Advisory Council of Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh, of Federation of India Chambers of Commerce and Industry. He has received the Padam Shri Award from the President of India in recognition of distinguished service in the field of trade and industry. So we are just waiting for Sir. Other than Dr. Rajendra Gupta, we have Sri Sanjeev Kumar as our special guest. He is currently serving as the chairman of Telecommunication Consultants India Private Limited. He has 30 years of diverse work experience. He implemented telecom project for CWG 2010 city surveillance and Wi-Fi project in Mumbai city. He is
Bit ironical, isn't it?
Can
Bit ironical that we've got technical problems.
Yeah. Yes. We can't hear you, Sibati.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I expect you're all from different parts of the world.
Yes.
director as a panelist, and Sri D.N. Murthy, MD and CEO, Dhanush Group as a panelist. We request Sri Sanjeev Kumarji, our special guest, to say a few kind words to us.
Did you guys lose the signal too?
So is everyone, are they audible, the Seaboy team, to everyone?
No, I can't hear them, Mrinal.
Yeah, just hang on. Let me just check with these people.
So now we are going to start panel discussion, please.
Okay, Seaboy team, we literally cannot hear anything. Harish ji.
I can't hear anyone.
So let's start with the panel discussion.
Yeah, we've got you.
Yeah. We have Miss Mrinal with us. She's a serial entrepreneur. She has specialization in business development, strategic management, and funding for more than 10 years. With a strong background in fundraising and capital management, she has over the 10 years clear experience. So she had her love for technology to materialize her dream of modernizing India. We are looking forward for the panel discussion, Mrinal. Over to you, madam.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Shivani. I welcome all my esteemed panelists, but I'll start by introducing our panelists once for everyone. Mr. Sharan here with us. Mr. Sharan has been a proven entrepreneur and technology pioneer with diverse business experience in US, India, and EU. He's the national president of Gallagher Foundation and involved in the nation building of through thought leadership. He's an active blogger on multitude of global issues and has won a lot of awards by Governor of Sikkim for community leadership, by Governor of Goa and Tamil Nadu for social and community leadership, and many other international awards. Next, we have Sri Arup Joshiji. He's the managing partner of Frost & Sullivan US. He's currently serving as the managing partner of Frost & Sullivan. He has a great understanding of new business models and disruptive technologies. He's advised many C-suite executives on identifying a growth pipeline and investing in lucrative growth opportunities. He's successfully set up Frost & Sullivan offices across 45 strategic locations globally. We welcome you, sir. Next, we have with us our Dr. Meenakshi Jolly. She's a professor in the departments of internal medicine and psychiatry, behavior sciences at Rush Medical College, Illinois. She's the associate program director for Rush Rheumatology Fellowship Program and has been actively engaged in various lupus organizations, also serving currently on medical advisory board for Lupus Society of Illinois, and has developed patent reported outcome tools on lupus PRO. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, we have with us Sri DSN Murthy. He's the MD and CEO of the Hanush Group, seasoned professional with over 2 decades of experience in ID, service and product organizations. Under DSNG's leadership, Dhanush has forayed into 5 continents, and he's the ambassador for promoting tri-sister city relationship between Hyderabad, Brisbane, and Ipswich. He has again been awarded many awards by Africa Oracle, and also been given the Best Implementation Partner Award for West, East, and Central Africa by Microsoft. Welcome you, sir. So let's begin our panel discussion now on entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology for futuristic India. We all know in the global pandemic scenario, India.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Actually, our chief guest has just joined us. So we welcome you, sir, to the session. Now, it's over to you, Ma'am Minal.
Welcome, Rajendraji. We know in the global pandemic scenario, India has really aced performance in advancing new technologies and innovations. So in that context, moving forward, I ask my esteemed panelists, how do you rate the current scenario in Indian entrepreneurship and innovation vis-a-vis the first world countries? Which sectors do you think are flourishing or lagging behind, etc.? And most importantly, how do you think that we can make our economic growth both faster as well as inclusive through the use of technology and fostering innovation? So we can begin with Neeraj. Your comments. Please unmute, Neeraj.
Yeah. Good morning to all of you, and thank you, Mrinal, for some very lovely introduction for everyone here. We will have a lot of conversation going forward as a session. I just want to start with one thing that I truly believe, since your question was, where is India, where is innovation, where is entrepreneurship? My first thought on that is, I think India is in a startup phase, and India is rebooting itself. And we all know what it means. We've all gone through the startup phase. So we are trying to fix broken stuff. We are trying to generate some new stuff and continue with some good old stuff that we have. We are at a very cross point, I believe, as far as India is concerned. And I believe till yesterday and yesteryears, we went through a process of the trickle-down impact of economy, that you put money on the top, you invest, and you let it trickle down to to spur the entire economic strata. And I think the time has come now to really understand this and come to terms with some realities, that we should possibly be following an inverted capitalism, a bottom-up approach, where we need not be, because the trickle down we've seen for long, and by the time it trickles down, there's very little left, and that trickle is no longer a trickle as well. I truly believe we should be looking at inverted capitalism, spurring the bottom of the economy, and then taking it upward as we pull more than 700 million people. And if we could just double their income at that level of $1 or $2 a day, that is where I believe Indian trillions of dollars of economy will come, not necessarily through the unicorn process. And in that same sense, I would say that while we all talk about being global, and since I'm going to be speaking focused on India right now, and the context of where we are, it might be good for us to think local and not so much global at this time. There is so much to be done in the local market, in the communities we live, in the mohallas we live, in the sectors we live, that there is so much innovation and so much things to be done there. And we should start to look at that as well. So Mrinal, that's my opening statement, that we are in a startup phase. We are rebooting ourselves. We need to look bottoms up, and we need to look a little bit more deeper local than just talk of global. Yes, we should be part of global, and we are, but we are probably losing sight of the underbelly.
Right.
Thank you, Mrinal.
Right. Anyone else who wants to participate on that? Right. So let's move forward. Yeah, Arupji, yes. Yes, Arupji, you want to say something? Unmute, Arupji. We can't hear you.
There's an audio issue. Maybe someone else can come in while he's trying to fix. He's not muted yet. We cannot hear him.
Arupji, can you hear us?
Arupji, you may want to try your cell phone, because some others were also having similar problem before. It works better on the cell phone than on the computer. But meanwhile, he's connecting, I would go ahead and, speak in support of what Neeraj said. To me, yes, I'm on the other side of the world. My roots are completely Indian. I have educated, my medical schooling was in India. My schooling was in India. Frankly, I'm not a politician or a bureaucrat to give you the data or numbers on where we stand and where we don't stand. But I say there is a plus and minus on either side of an equation all the time. Based on, given the responsibilities and resources and the timeline we are in India, we are at a good stage. This is the right place to be at. I feel, jab ghar aaye tab savera. Right now is the right time to make progress. We just need to realize this is the right time. Comparing to the global market is always good to have another comparison. But every place has its plus or minus. Even though we may think of other countries as more developed and India as developing countries, these standards are set by different folks for XYZ reasons. Even though science's level is greater, I would say, in the global market, not just in USA, but what is the application? If people are more educated, I can definitely tell you, but does that translate into health literacy? Does that actually result in greater uptake of that science? We can very well see that the COVID vaccine is available here, yet the population that is taking is not anywhere close to what it is in India. Similarly, uptake of guns is much higher. So I would say, yes, to have a comparison is good, but we do need to focus on what we have, what are our challenges, and where we want to go, and focus on that direction and look more locally.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. So, Arupji, do we have you back with us?
Let me try one more time.
Perfect, perfect. Yes.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much for your patience. So let me make a few comments. I echo every point that Neeraj mentioned. However, I just wanted to add to a few of his comments, and that is, I think India is in its very infancy when it comes to entrepreneurship and innovation and leverage of technology for entrepreneurship. But the reality is, for Indian economy to grow, both in the short term, medium term, and long term, leverage of technology will be very critical, because that is by far the fastest way to reach people in the lower strata of the economic pyramid and to get the masses. The inverted triangle that Neeraj mentioned will require digital frameworks, digital technology. And the good news is, with technologies, especially like 5G that is being rolled out in a country like India, I think both accessibility and affordability will be a lot better, and therefore the ability to have the necessary impact, both at social level, economic level, job creation level, will all become very possible in the coming years. But obviously, for all that to happen, creating ecosystems are very, very crucial, and they start right from primary school to universities, and of course, in the business world as well. So a lot has to be done. But what is interesting is incredible opportunities are emerging post-COVID. I think COVID was the biggest wake-up call for the entire world at one time. And I think for many people, it was a massive slowdown. But I think there is incredible opportunities coming down the pike, because what we will see as a rebound will be a different world in which we will live. And what that means is we will see tremendous opportunities in areas where there is a convergence of traditional industries, traditional markets with technology. So for example, few of that are already known to us, like EdTech. India has really excelled in that, FinTech, but you're going to see a lot more in the health tech area, med tech area. Mobility will see a lot of changes. Our modes of transportation are completely going to change in the future. And the sooner we embrace those changes, the better we will be as a country. And I think India has the power, because of its skilled labor availability, that we can actually deploy some of these technologies very successfully in the country. So again, in short, India is poised for some great entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship has been with India from very early days. Our grocery store guy at the corner of our streets used to be an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is in India's DNA. The question is, we haven't built the ecosystems. That's what we need to do now. And I'm pretty confident, given the countries that I have personally evaluated from an entrepreneurship standpoint, it is doable in India, and it can be done with proper governance, funding, and creation of ecosystems. So I see a very bright future for India from a entrepreneurship standpoint. Thank you. And
thank you, Arupji. But just continuing on your point, innovation is becoming, as you said, rightly said, it's becoming more collaborative. And now with businesses are increasingly partnering with businesses, other businesses and other universities to develop new innovations. We have a great example of the Harvard MIT ecosystem in Boston, like what I observed. So, but yet there is an overwhelming agreement that, as you just mentioned, that we are missing out on valuable opportunities here. So how do you all think can we fix that? How can we, support our local ecosystem, and how can we unlock new collaborations, whether that is in public-private partnership space, etc., to actually focus and grow innovations? Because, now we're focusing from entrepreneurship to innovational entrepreneurship, So yes, we can hear. Mr. Murthy, would you like to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. See, this is a very interesting point. In the last COVID time, we have seen in India is an enormous amount of innovation and also the entrepreneurship coming in, and various educational institutions promoting that at a very primitive stages itself. So one of the things which I see as a major impediment as of now is to how do we really bring in these innovations to the light and make them practical usage and adopt them in a global platforms and also have them adopt universally is one of the challenges which we have observed. See, one of the points wherein the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, which is one of the co-sponsors and of this particular event, Tech4seva, is specifically connecting with various universities and educational institutions. And there is certain amount of innovation which is coming in and they're trying to collaborate that. But bringing that to the market and then having them used and refining that to the practicality is what we are seeing as a challenge as of now, where how industry can collaborate and then start adopting these solutions which are emanating from some of the innovators at the university level is one thing which these type of platforms should provide, because certainly innovation and entrepreneurship is something which we need to join those dots together, because there is a innovation which is coming in at the educational institutions level, mainly the technological innovations, and they're not really that great on entrepreneurship because they doesn't know how to raise funds, how to take it to the market, how do we make it to the marketability and things like that. So that is where if industry can start collaborating with these innovations and mainly with the forums like UBA, if they can able to come forward and then adopt the innovations and start funding, sponsoring them liberally, then we would see that India can really surpass global innovations, because we've been experiencing being part of the UBA. We are seeing that thousands of innovations coming in and they're all happening at the university level, and the newer generation is being able to bring that innovative ideas into the market.
So basically the industry needs to open up its hearts and minds and join hands together collaboratively. Mr. Joshi, you want to say something about it?
No, I totally agree. I think universities and of course, public-private partnerships are happening. But I just want to add a little comment on entrepreneurship and innovation. While they do tend to go hand in hand, but they're also quite distinct in the way they are set up. So I think India is relatively more, while even though it's in the infancy, is more advanced on the entrepreneurship side. But when it comes to innovation, I still think a lot of the innovation still resides outside of India for now. And India tends to still focus very heavily on improvements, not on true innovation. Now, this is a very debatable topic, and I'm sure everybody has perspectives. But I will say majority of the innovation that comes from India are improvements and not true innovation, not wild innovation like I would like to call. And that goes back to the fundamentals, because we don't have ecosystems. We don't have students at high school level or university levels being given that opportunity to innovate. We produce a vast number of engineers each year. We are, I think, the #1 in the world, but majority of our engineers are not necessarily high-end innovators. They are great students of engineering, but not innovators. And that's why over the years, we have not seen any major breakthroughs and global brands being created by India. Now, this is fixable. Ecosystems have to be created, public-private partnership, relationship between universities and other universities, R&D facilities from different parts of the world become very important. Intellectual property maintenance becomes very important. It can be done. The good news is India's got the basics right. I think if we can create that environment, I think India can excel in the short term to the long term. So that's the additional comment I wanted to make.
Right, absolutely.
Could I add something to that?
Yes, please go ahead, Dr. Meenakshi.
So I would add, as an educator and a researcher, and having had education in India, I think there needs to be a culture change, and I'm in agreement with Dr. Jutsi's comments. Innovation lags behind. We have not been taught to be observant or curious. In fact, original thoughts, at least in my time, were not welcome. You were always told to emulate someone else or be like someone else. That originality of thought and giving validity to original thoughts rather than copied thoughts or an extension of someone else's thoughts needs to be given permission. As growing up, it's a big culture change in schools and colleges. These need to be celebrated. These need to be given validation. Training to pursue these thoughts. You know, everyone says India is great on jugaad, and yes, we are. But if we combine those jugaads with good quality, accountability, and things can happen. You know, the solutions are context appropriate, but we need to, you know, in addition, inculcate with originality some training, teach them the tenacity and support and volunteerism spirit, you know, that you're doing something, giving back to the community. One of the reasons why I'm sitting here and talking to you is because I feel that I need to give back to the community. And that is why I continue to do research with some of the institutions back home in India in a mentoring role or in a collaborative role. Ecosystems are great, but this cross-pollination of ideas has not happened. And right hand does not know what the left hand does. And the most great solutions are when both hands can talk to each other. And you can see that in medicine, you can see that in engineering, you know, simple things worldwide. You can see that the water wheel with the purifier, the solar lanterns for maternal care, for baby's delivery, rotablator for heart, you know, the stents that close, the heart stents that close, combining a chemical engineer input into the design of these products can so much invigorate science and adds specifically to the development in these areas.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi. So since this is a healthcare forum, you know, Ziboit, so for the healthcare, we've observed that in India is going to be the pharmacy of the world and obviously does extremely well in the generics or digital health tech and med tech and other systems. But we've observed that there's barely any support or funding, largely funding as well, is a huge constraint for innovations in cutting edge research or manufacturing of healthcare devices. So we very good with it, our technology, you know, we have a base ready with the IT, but we have a huge gap when it comes to, you know, doing stem cell research, manufacturing stem cells or things like that, or even their healthcare devices. And so what do you think, you know, can be done to bridge this gap and bring India as a forerunner in the main arena of the entire healthcare innovations? Dr. Meenakshi. Dr. Meenakshi, are you there? I think we've lost him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, since you're a patent holder yourself, let's hear you.
Yeah, so, you know, my work comes from very simple observations. What is the simplest way of collecting data from patients and what can I apply that for? And I have actually taken some of the ideas that I can apply to India, where there are not trained rheumatologists or doctors to see these patients. Can I get some simple information by patients or the nurses filling these forms? And that's the application of these kinds of simple you know, products of intellectual patents. I will tell you though, but being more familiar with it, it is also a source of furthering science as well as bringing me revenue back so that I can invest further into developing science in the field. I will tell you that we don't need to look at all these different areas. Why don't we have studies in drug devices and this sort of thing? There are so many areas, as you said, pharmaceutical industry is so big. Why can't we do studies on cost effectiveness analysis? Why can't we do studies in showing access to care and what it does, you know, pharmacoeconomics kind of research, because we have such a big pharmaceutical industry, you know, there. But even in them, sitting outside as a third person, I would say that our pharmaceutical industry does carry a reputation of lack of transparency and accountability that really needs to be worked on to give it the solid foundation and basis, so that it gets a good platform where it can be recognized very well.
Right. Neeraj.
Yeah, thank you. Those are very valid points. And coming to healthcare, your question was, why is it that India leads pharmaceutically globally in the world with generic products? And we are one of the largest hubs. And thanks to COVID, the vaccine story came out. Many of the Indians were not even aware of that. The point is, it's a lot to do with a little bit of culture as well, that, we do not have the mindset. And it's a catch-22 situation. We don't have the mindset to innovate because we see the impediments going forward to that innovation. Forget the part that we don't have an ecosystem as robust to sponsor, to fund it, because these are in healthcare, FDAs and a whole lot of clinical trials that will require a long gestation period vis-a-vis industrial product. But that even if I get to that point, trust me, you will go around at 10 locations to get your first contract, and people are not willing to try your stuff because there is no proven track record of where you've done it before. Now, that's a catch-22 situation. And I'm telling you, if at that point, someone brings in an imported know-how and says, here is this, people will buy it randomly. So we are not we're not helping this mindset to change. We need to have the trust in the innovative products that we come up with. And I'll tell you another thing. In healthcare, for example, I do see, we see the labs, due respect to all the brand names we have, Dr. Lal, Dangs, a phenomenal job all over the country. But the cost to which it is doing, I think it can be reduced by at least 70, 80% more, because it is the gadget which does the diagnostics of the blood sample you may have taken. It's not a doctor that does. I'm talking of the basic, because India is a country going forward with diabetes, undetected heart issues. We're not measuring blood, primary healthcare I'm talking. We have the sensors, we have the devices, we're not putting it together. I don't see a reason why a blood test of 50 different samples can be done at 500 rupees as opposed to 6,000 that I pay, because it's done by a gadget. You get what look at the dichotomy of this whole thing. We have the sensors, we have the gadgets. So I do expect that in the next wave, as we are entering, you'll see a new range of companies in the same space and provide these services, these things at 1/4, 1/3, or half the price. That's the way innovation comes up. You looked at before Amazon, before Zomato, we were buying food at X price. Now we are doing at 0.5x. So I think in the healthcare we had a lot of good run. We're still having a lot of good run, but innovation to come up with this, fixing local problems of the larger database. Again, I've come back to the bottom of the pyramid. Again, as I say, 700, 800, 900 million Indians do not have access to that primary healthcare as we would expect them. Technology is there, we need to just put it together.
Right. So, Neeraj, you feel that the government, should there be a government push, should be a huge push by the government in, funding a lot of money, a lot of building that trust in the ecosystem. So what exactly do you think, how do you think, what regulatory changes are at this point required at the policy level to speed up such innovations and bridge the gap?
Look, the government's innovative fund, if there's a private side of it, there's a government side of it. If you look at the innovation fund that the government of India has at this time,
it's barely anything.
It will not even move the scale.
Yeah.
We need to talk about 100x to start off. So definitely we need a larger impetus and a more commitment by the government to say we want to have innovation in our mind, in our next generation, and put money on the table. But similarly, I don't see a reason why the large unicorns, the large institutions who are in the private sector, I don't think they are doing any better than the government. We can point a finger to the government because it's easiest to say the government did not do this. But we are not, because we are everybody who's gone into that space does not want to take a risk in bringing impactful, disruptive technology. They're very busy taking up a market share from others, ingesting themselves inside and becoming bigger and bigger, but they're not doing something where, the unmet needs of healthcare or other things are happening. I'm sorry, this is what I feel.
No, I totally support that. Yes. I mean, totally support that. We saw that during Covaxin, when they needed the money, the private sector did not come forward and push it, they were all like looking at the government to sponsor them. And later on, Reliance comes out with, okay, now I'm going to make this new vaccine, Reliance vaccine or whatever is that. So I think, yes, mentality for both the unicorns, and the government, that needs to be kind of looked into.
I think we have some, Dr. Garg wanted to say something from the...
Yeah, I can see it somehow.
Thank you, Neeraj,
Sure.
for spotting my SOS. I just want to say a few words, and I want to steal few minutes from your discussion, a very well knitted and a very valuable discussion with deep insight into the entrepreneurship and the medtech industry in India. So, can we begin at home? At CBI, we people are already trying to deploy and repurpose the already available technology as medtech, because specific development of specific technologies in healthcare is very few, and there is not much focus on health-oriented, dedicated technology developments except pharma and vaccination. So, in our view, as per our vision, the already available technologies can be deployed in health in a great way, and we can transform the healthcare scenario with merely repurposing and redeployment of the already available technologies in the other domains. So one such example is the development of the bag operator, development of the healthcare task by our CBA teams only. So now we are on a journey to deploy those technologies in remote areas of Himachal as well as the remote areas of Punjab, and with the incorporation of the digital stethoscope, digital spirometer, point of care testing. So those repurposing of those technologies, redeployment of those technologies is making telemedicine popular among the doctors, because telemedicine from the first day is a very hot cake among the patients due to the fear related to the COVID. But doctors are all shying away from the telemedicine due to lack of the availability of the data set regarding the vital of the patient, regarding the proper history of the patient, as well as examination of the patient, and then they found no fun referring patient for small tests to the hospital. If patient has to go to a hospital or a lab for getting his or her HB done, her HbA1c done, her complete urine done, any small or big test done, so then there is no fun of the getting consultation on the video chat. So our kiosk is the great example of the repurposing and redeployment of medtech, multiple technologies in a single product.
Right.
So if Mrinal will allow, then we will play a small documentary around 12, it will take 10 to 12 minutes, which can show the social impact of redeployment of the medtech.
Right, sir. Let's go ahead.
Please, thank you. Thank you.
हाँ
ए अभी
हाँ
लो
अरे
चाय पिलाओ लली लली दिखाई ना दे रही कहीं
पढ़ने गई है
ये अच्छा है लो चाय
देखो गरम है
गरमा गरम मम्मी अपनी लली ने 12वीं पास तो कर ली है आगे क्या करने ने इसको सोचा है
वो कह रही थी कि शहर जाकर के ना आगे की पढ़ाई करेगी डॉक्टर बनना चाहती है
डॉक्टर यो अच्छा डॉक्टर बन के तुम्हारा और हमारा इलाज मत कर देगी
अरे
लेकिन डॉक्टर तो पढ़ाई बड़ी गहरी हुई है
हाँ तो ठीक है ना ट्यूशन लगा लेगी और का
हाँ जो ठीक है हम राम भैया से बात करते हैं ट्यूशन की
नंबर है
हाँ दिया थोड़ा एक बार
घुमा तो नहीं दियो का हुआ ए अनुके पापा का हुआ अनुके पापा का हुआ अरे ठीक तो अरे कोई है अनु अरे टीकम अरे कोई है का अरे कोई तो और है अरे कौन है का डॉक्टर साहब ठीक है वो क्या हुआ
घबराइए नहीं वो बिल्कुल ठीक है आप प्लीज मेरे साथ आइए बैठिए देखिए अभी वो खतरे से बिल्कुल बाहर है और ठीक भी है
लेकिन डॉक्टर साहब हुआ क्या है उन्हें उन्हें तो कोई बीमारी भी नहीं है
उन्हें हार्ट अटैक पड़ा है
जी हार्ट अटैक लेकिन वो उन्हें कभी कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई और वो बहुत अच्छे से हमारे साथ सुबह चाय पी रहे थे ऐसा कैसे हो गया
देखिए शुगर और ब्लड प्रेशर की बीमारी में काफी दिनों से थी जिसकी सही समय पर जांच हो जानी चाहिए थी और जिसके चलते ही उन्हें ये दिल का दौरा पड़ा है
लेकिन डॉक्टर साहब ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है
देखिए इन बीमारियों का पता तभी चलता है जब सही समय पर सही जांच हो अब सही समय पर सही जांच ना होने से इनकी बीमारी बढ़ चुकी है और इनके दिल की खून की 2 नलियां ब्लॉक हो चुकी हैं जिसके लिए हमें स्टेंट डालना पड़ेगा और हाँ 1.5 से 2 लाख रुपए का खर्चा भी आएगा
जी डॉक्टर साहब अब मैं समझी आशा दीदी क्यों मुझे और इन्हें जांच कराने के लिए कहती थी
घबराइए नहीं लेकिन आगे से ध्यान रखिए और लोगों को भी समझाइए कि सही समय पर जांच कराने से न सिर्फ बीमारी का पता चलता है बल्कि उसकी रोकथाम भी जल्दी हो जाती है और हाँ वो कोई भयानक रूप नहीं ले पाती
In India, every year, nearly 58 lakh people die from non-communicable diseases comprising heart and lung diseases, stroke, cancer, and diabetes. In other words, 1 in 4 Indians has a risk of dying from an NCD before they reach the age of 70. According to World Health Organization projections, the total annual number of deaths from NCDs will increase to 5,50,000 by 2030 if timely interventions are not done for prevention and control of NCDs. Estimates suggest that the NCDs in India account for an economic burden in the range of 5 to 10% of GDP, which is significant and slowing down GDP, thus hampering development. WHO acknowledges that digital health interventions facilitate universal healthcare coverage while promoting quality healthcare. According to Bain & Company's 2019 Asia Pacific Frontline Healthcare Survey, 40% of the consumers would use telemedicine services in future. 45% will depend on online pharmacy services and 91% of consumers would use digital health services. Therefore, the need of the hour is to promote digital health platforms like telehealth that can help people with NCDs by screening and providing teleconsultations instantly at their doorstep. The telehealth's mission is to speed up the Government of India's vision of Ayushman Bharat by creating affordable, accessible, and quality healthcare service delivery system. This model of service delivery shall ensure timely screening, diagnosis, treatment, and referral for NCDs, MCH services, rare diseases, and many more through telemedicine. Supplements the government policies and programs. Provides a technology and cloud-based platform for automated electronic data entry and management. Locally based physicians, both in public and private sectors, get supportive supervision and guidance from specialists sitting at district hospital and tertiary care. Reduces time taken for emergencies and helps the doctor to quickly initiate the right treatment with readily available medical investigation results. Now, let's see how it works. Suppose a rural patient faces some issues. She or he visits health center and gets tested through telehealth. The results are instantly uploaded on telehealth cloud database, which connects to a specialist who reverts back with a treatment plan. Other significant features are automated health screening and diagnostics, live video consultation with reputed doctors and specialists, instant health report and prescription from healthcare provider. Manage and monitor your health on mobile. Let's now hear from the health experts themselves on what they have to say about this intervention.
Very good innovations. And telemedicine is one of the good innovations which has come out of it. And this is going to revolutionize the healthcare system in the country as well as maybe in the world also. Because during this pandemic, this started as a budding field now which has become very much, it has become improved and it is giving great benefit to the patients.
Telehealth is use of digital information and communication technology like computers and mobiles for providing healthcare to the patients. There has been a gradual revolution in telemedicine and telehealth in providing quality patient care. It's a win-win situation for both patients as well as doctors.
Suppose I see 20 patients in a village, remote village of our country on telemedicine. Out of these, 10 will not need to come. I can just give them quality care at their home only. Even the patient who need to come to us, I can order them, I can advise them tests, and this will greatly reduce their need to stay in the institute. Okay, the third major advantage is follow-up of the patients. Suppose 80% of our patients just need to be given same treatment and they keep on visiting us unnecessarily. This telemedicine has a great potential to reduce their visits to the institute and will reduce our rush also.
In the facility, we can have consultations with super specialties as well as we can have tests which can be done at the local level, which can be transmitted automatically to the concerned physician or the super specialties for the diagnosis and treatment at the local level without actually visiting the peripheral hospital.
Satayu healthcare system is an innovative idea to provide healthcare systems in remote and inaccessible areas. This system will give a battery of tests, and it has more than around 60 tests can be done at a time. It will also provide the expert opinion at the point of care, and I believe this will help to diagnose the disease in earlier stage and help to reduce many deaths.
We, like at PGI, used to face a lot of rush, huge crowds in our outpatient department. Now with the advent of telemedicine, this number of patients coming to institutes will come down, and the patients who actually need the institute care will be traveling, and this will enable us to provide quality care to those patients.
एक ऐसा मशीन है कि आप उसमें कोई सा भी टेस्ट करवाना चाहेंगे तो उसमें आपका हो जाएगा टेस्ट। उसमें आपको कहीं भी आना जाना नहीं पड़ेगा, कहीं पे आपको आने जाने के लिए करते हैं, इधर उधर भाग दौड़ करते हैं, आप काम करने वाले बंदे हैं, तो इसमें आपका एक दिन में हर चीज टेस्ट हो जाएगा। आप कोई सा भी टेस्ट करवाना चाहें तो इसमें आपका हो जाएगा।
मैं अपने फादर मदर का टेस्ट करवाने यहाँ आया था, तो साथ में हेल्थ केयर मशीन पे मैंने भी अपना टेस्ट करवा लिया। वैसे तो मैं बिल्कुल फिट हूँ, मुझे लगता नहीं मेरे अंदर कोई प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन जब मेरी रिपोर्ट्स आई और जब मेरी स्क्रीनिंग हुई तो मुझे पता लगा कि मेरा बीपी बढ़ा हुआ है, मेरी रिपोर्ट्स अप डाउन हो रही हैं। तो उसके बाद मैंने डॉक्टर के साथ टेली कंसल्टेशंस की, तो उसके बाद मुझे पता लगा कि मुझे क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, तो उन्होंने मुझे कोई रिकमेंडेशन की।
As we all know that last 2 years were very tough time for the entire humanity, especially for the chronic patients all the hospitals were out of bound, out of reach due to the fear of COVID. And the entire medical fraternity was fighting with the unforeseen enemy. But during this tough period, we at Center for Innovation and Biodesign, we were trying to contribute a little bit by developing the telemedicine into a full-fledged domain to serve the patients in the remote areas, in the rural areas, for making healthcare accessible, affordable for each and everyone in every corner of the globe.
This intervention will be a significant step towards prevention of NCDs. It will help in saving lives of millions of people and address the issues related to access.
Where all the tests can be done with instant reporting and all the data is stored at cloud, and hence all the EMR is protected for the rural masses, making a big leap in the provision of the healthcare services in the rural people, bringing down the need of travel for availing the consultation of a specialist in district hospital and for getting the test done. Hence, we brought down the carbon emission from the medical travel as well as the cost of the medical consultation by many fold.
मैं अपनी वाइफ के साथ उसके बर्थडे पे मार्केट घूमने गया था। वहां पे मैंने टेली हेल्थ कियोस्क देखा। सो मैंने एकदम मेरे माइंड में आया कि भाई इसको बर्थडे प्रेजेंट मैं इस बार टेली हेल्थ का कूपन दूं। सो उसको टेली हेल्थ का कूपन दिया। उसने सारे वहां पे कियोस्क पे टेस्ट करवाए जो बेसिक मैंडेटरी टेस्ट हैं 50 के आसपास, और उसके कारण हमें उसको मेरी वाइफ को कैसे और बेटर रहना है, उसकी वेलनेस के लिए हमें एरियाज ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट पता चले जो शायद लेटर स्टेज पे जाके कहीं ना कहीं पे किसी सीरियस प्रॉब्लम में लीड कर सकते थे। तो हम लोगों ने उस सीरियस प्रॉब्लम को पहली स्टेज पे ही, प्रिवेंटिव स्टेज पे ही अवॉइड कर दिया इस हेल्थ कूपन के कारण जो टेलीमेडिसिन कियोस्क पे अवेलेबल था।
This is my request to all the medical fraternity, to the pharma fraternity, to support this endeavor to make it a reality, to take our country into the next level of healthcare, that is digital health, via the telemedicine, by making this dream a real happening.
Thank you, Varinderji. This was a great example of social entrepreneurship, innovation, technology, everything put together at the grassroots level. I really hope that it impacts millions and millions of lives and give us all a chance for good healthcare. So we have with us Shauryaji today, and I can't help but in his presence ask him, because he's a great policy expert, that Shauryaji, if you can shed some light. I know we will hear you in detail in a while, but just going back to a panel discussion, what do you think are key policy decisions that can be implemented to now take entrepreneurship and innovations at the next level? Are you there, Shauryaji?
Yes. Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak. I have been quietly hearing the panel discussion, which was indeed very informative for somebody like me, just to try and understand how we think of entrepreneurship and the problems with innovation, and of course the role of technology, and particularly in the medical space. Well, from my perspective, from where I look at it, I think of when we talk about a futuristic India, what are we really talking about? If we simplify, if we break it down in simple terms, we're looking at really 4 or 5 big parameters. We're looking at 1, a prosperous India, a healthy India, a safe India, a gainfully engaged India, and most importantly, a sustainable India, where all these 4 things that I mentioned are actually sustainable. So if that is our vision of a futuristic India, and these are various elements of that, then I find that all the three things that you've spoken about today have a vital role in ensuring that we get these 5 things delivered. Entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology. It is indeed the holy grail, the triad, that will actually ensure that we will deliver to our country these on these parameters of prosperity, health, safety, gainful employment, and sustainability. Let us just take a few examples. When we start with entrepreneurship, as of today's date, I think entrepreneurship is the only known method to man to create prosperity. Man has not discovered any second method. We have tried with many other methods, but the only known successful method through which we can create prosperity. So entrepreneurship is indeed very vital to a large population like us to be able to create the kind of prosperity that we seek. Because it is also this entrepreneurship that creates grateful employment or grateful engagement for both the entrepreneur as well as for the others that they employ. It also then generates the resources for public good, whether it's in the field of safety, or in the field of health, things that you all mentioned. And then, of course, it is only when entrepreneurship is there, the government is able to get these resources, that we can make this a sustainable effort for a period of time. So, I just wanted to very simply illustrate that when we talk about entrepreneurship or when we talk about innovation, I mean, people talked about here earlier, that innovation, innovation is at the heart of entrepreneurship. I would not totally agree with people, with some of the panelists who said that India is very good on improvement, but low on innovation. I think if I look at it, it is a continuum. We start with improvement, we go to innovation, and we actually should end up with invention. Where India is indeed a bit weak or needs to work harder is on the invention side of the spectrum. But we started off as a poor country with improvisation. It was our necessity. It was our historical requirement as a nation. It's only been 70 years. But if you look at the continuum, in various areas, we are coming up and moving from the natural course of improvement to invention. And I think that our ability to deliver the vaccine, the Covishield and the COVID vaccine, our ability to come out with a vaccine during COVID times was a great example of that. In the late 90s, as the world decided that it did not want to do generics, and it did not want to, it did not have the time and space, particularly the Western countries, to build these kind of generic medicines. A poor nation like India stepped in, saying that we will do it for you. Had we not taken that monumentous decision at that time, building up our improvisation to enter the space, 25 years later, we would not have been, 20 years later, we would not have been in the situation that we are today. We've just crossed a billion people vaccinated. I can quote country after country that is nowhere in this spectrum, that does not have a vaccine of its own. And give it another 20 years. The same journey from improvement to innovation will lead, because as Indian companies generate the kind of capital, as I've said, it was this improvisation of these these small Indian companies who were becoming budding entrepreneurs, that they actually developed the ability to build a vaccine today. These same companies will tomorrow fund the universities in India, from where we will generate the next level of innovation. And I'm therefore very, very hopeful that our journey in innovation is about started. We have obviously taken a few policy measures to build that innovation, but it's not policy that's going to get it. It is our ability to create a conducive environment of entrepreneurship. And people talked about ecosystem and the need for an ecosystem. It's our ability to create ease of doing business, taking government out of days of people's lives, and some of the small steps whereby we are trying to build that environment, that ecosystem of innovation. It's still not very, is not up, to the standard that it should have been, or the standard that we require. We have our own compulsions, as a country, but the country's on the job, and I'm sure that in sector after sector. We've just done it with medicine. We are doing it with our defense productions. We are doing it with other areas, of food security, etc., where we are looking at both entrepreneurship and innovation to combine and solve some of the problems for our country first, as we foresee them in the next 25 years, but then also hopefully build a model after India crosses 1.3 billion vaccination. Where do you think the vaccines will go? It is India who will vaccinate Africa. It is India which will vaccinate every other country in the world that cannot create a vaccine today. So, this is what entrepreneurship and innovation of a people can deliver. And then that brings me to the final point of technology. Technology indeed is the new mantra. It is both now a paradigm shift. It is both our source and end for a country like India. It is a way that leveraging technology is going to accelerate this entrepreneurship and innovation to a level and an orbit that we have not seen before. And for India, it is going to provide that orbital shift of greater speed and access. As we cannot wait, as somebody in the beginning point, for the trickle down effect. Before technology, we were trying to make this growth balanced and widespread in a country like India. But now with technology, we are going to leapfrog this jump, and we are going to shorten the time with which we are able to bring both innovation and entrepreneurship to the doorsteps of an average Indian. And of course, we are looking at some of our startups. We are looking at the larger technology environment. We are looking at the universities, and we are looking at actually the entire Indian diaspora, not just out of in India, but we believe that an Indian sits in the heart of every solution in the world, to every problem in the world. I think when all this ecosystem comes together to bear on the problems and bear on the on what technology can bring for us, I think we are in for indeed utilizing this holy grail. So I think the next 25 years of India's independence, as India makes this journey from 75 years to 100 years of its independence, are very, very exciting years, because this is the years where the government of the past and now have created that platform, have brought us to that level from where we can really start seeing the compounding effects of entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology in delivering the futuristic vision of India, which, as I said, is an India where prosperity, health, safety, gainful employment, and sustainability don't become exceptions, but become a natural way of life for every citizen of India. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with all of you today.
Thank you, Shauraji. Your words were very energetic, and at the same time inspired us to take this discussion forward towards the end. We have with us Mr. Simon Gallagher and Professor Bamra. So to both of you, I would just like to ask, as Shauraji has laid down a vision for India, showed us that from the colonial and the socialistic rule, now India has entered into an era of dynamic entrepreneurship, innovation, and capital obviously will get generated, which will allow us to very quickly take an escalated path for growth. Where do you see now that India is moving, and where do you see India 2050 in the world order of entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology? Simonji and Professor Bamra after that.
I'll let Simon go first.
Yes.
I think looking at India, I think it's an incredibly exciting time. If you look at it just purely from an economical perspective, I think India will continue to be a key player in the global scene, and I think ultimately with time that they will be recognised as one of the leading powers globally. And I think what's core to that is, Modi is making really, really positive steps forward with the digital healthcare mission, which allows connectivity through that healthcare ecosystem. And then I think part of driving the success there will be essentially engaging with that and contributing to building sustainability both now and for the future, so that we can, you know, realize that long-term ambition. And I think because India is so diverse, it's such a large country. It's, you know, it's intrinsically complex from a healthcare system. The digital healthcare mission will provide an anchor, I believe, to help drive that innovation that will ultimately, you know, carry the country forward. Just reflecting on some of the feedback from the other colleagues on the call, I also believe that India is a melting pot of entrepreneurship. I think as a culture, India is highly entrepreneurial and highly innovative. I think the key route to success is really focusing that entrepreneurship in key areas that will help really drive you know, the ambition for the country. And we you know, I obviously work in the pharma industry. We can't do this alone. So a truly collaborative approach is warranted to help drive access to all patients in India, and trying to address some of the, you know, the affordability issues that we have in India. So I think in a nutshell, you know, a very, very bright future for India. And the key to success will be that holistic collaboration and innovation across the entire healthcare ecosystem.
Right.
Do you want me to go, Mrinal?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. So thank you very much for making me part of this. I'm very grateful. I'm a board member of CBio, and I'm very, very privileged to be a board member. I'm also the chairman of the British Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, which is the largest medical organization, one of the largest medical organizations in the UK, but certainly the largest ethnic organization in the UK, and one of the largest organizations, medical organizations throughout the Indian medical world. My roots are like Meenakshi's roots are in India. My roots are in Patiala, known for its Patiala peg, but also known for quite a lot of innovation that has come out of there. So you know, I wanted to. So I can't, everything everybody said, I absolutely agree with. You know, but I want to say that I feel a little bit disappointed. You know, that we don't embrace technology like we should. I mean, just before COVID started, the British High Commission and the Mayor of Manchester arranged for some of us, a small party of us, to go to various parts of India. I was absolutely astonished, pleasantly astonished. We are in the dark ages in the West, you know. So we went to Mumbai, we went to Bangalore, we went to Delhi, separately. I went to Chandigarh and also to Hyderabad. And, you know, India is light years ahead in terms of its technology, to be truthful. Before COVID started, I'd never heard about Zoom. And now we have so many platforms, haven't we? You know, what are the lessons we've learned from COVID? A number of you have mentioned COVID. I did a series. I was invited by Sadhguru, who most of you will know, to do a series, and do watch it on YouTube. Sadhguru and Jace Bamra. We did a 1.5 hour discussion on COVID and what post-COVID would look like, mainly on mental health, because I'm a psychiatrist and I'm very worried about the mental health of the whole globe, not just of India, because suicide rates are rising. Anyway, he said COVID is the best thing that could happen. And I was astonished that he said that, you know, to his 1.3 million followers. But of course, you know, that is true. COVID has given us the time to pause. What have I learned from COVID? We've learned that we have a large section of a sick society. We are getting iller. Diseases are getting much more complex. We need innovation and the implementation of innovation to scale up and prevent medical disasters like COVID. They are going to come again. We also know that we are more globally connected than we thought we were. This is not just exclusively a problem in India or in the UK as well. We have a high disease of depression, diabetes, hypertension, stroke-related diseases, cancers. All those non-communicable diseases, NCDs, in which I would put in depression and suicide as well, by the way. And actually, it is IT that is going to save us in the future, to be truthful. We know that pharmaceutical industry, Simon, thank you for coming, but I'm not going to have a dig at you. When pharmaceutical industries want to, they can scale up the production of vaccines within 12 months, within a few months. It has never happened in the world before. And we want more of that at a more cost-effective. What technology can do is to help us deliver the best possible healthcare in the most cost-effective way. And Virenderji talked about teleconsultations. We had a big impediment because the General Medical Council does not allow us to talk to patients globally other than patients who are registered in the NHS. Why is that? Regulation needs to change. We need global regulation in order that we can actually provide to the most rural, most sick community where healthcare does not reach. We need to provide that. And I'm sure we can do. We need all the regulators to work together to do that. We did teleconsultations from Papua with India. We did IT ward rounds in various places, which was good. But the other thing I would say, which hasn't been mentioned, is forgive me for saying this, I'm less worried about you folks. I'm worried about the next generation, Mrinal. They are going to suffer, and they are already suffering. Children who couldn't go to school because of COVID, children who couldn't sit their final MBBS exam and other engineering, other exams, they have been badly affected by COVID, and we need to be aware of that. So, we have a whole generation of people who are going to live through what has happened during COVID and post-COVID. And we need to work together with a global society. We need to work together. And one thing that hasn't been mentioned is climate change. That is also something that is going to affect our children and grandchildren in the future. And technology can help us. Nobody was flying, but yet we delivered some fantastic healthcare around the world to different remote rural places. So technology can change how our approach to our carbon footprint. And I think that is another thing that I would like in the future for us to have broader discussions of the governments to get together on, why we're still struggling, even in the UK, in rural societies, we can't deliver broadband at the speed that it should be. And India does absolutely marvelous things. There are taxis and buses in India which have Wi-Fi. You haven't got that in England, by the way. So I think that the future is bright, by the way, but the future is technology. Thank you.
Bamra, may I just follow up and just some complimentary comments to some of the elements that you had? I think just the point you made about the ability to scale up of the pharma industry, which was fantastic. I think that also as well, it goes hand in hand with regulatory agility, which I think you touched upon. So I think it just shows that the regulators can be agile when it's required. And, is there an opportunity for, as you suggested, streamline regulatory processes globally, and behind that, the regulatory agility, so that we can bring medicines to patients more quickly. So I think that's just one comment I have, and I think it's a collaborative effort, to achieve that, to bring that agility of giving patients access to products rather than many years of drawn out regulatory process. So I think that's a key element as well, and I think India can play a key role actually in enhancing the regulatory processes to support patients in India. And I think just touching upon the digital piece, fully agree with you. I think the digital architecture in India is core to the future success, and I think there's with the introduction of the biometric ID system in India, I think that this could be quite revolutionary if it's deployed, integrated in a very meaningful way, so we can start to connect patients in the remotest parts of India to the best physicians that may be in the cities. So just some perspectives that I think intrinsically linked to some of your feedback.
Great. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I think we've had a great discussion and a very wide one, covering a plethora of topics under this umbrella of entrepreneurship innovation for Futuristic India. We hope we are going great guns, and we just need to trust the process, have faith in our own abilities. At the same time, come forward by resounding and building a great ecosystem to nurture and foster real talent and bridge all the gaps that we have. So thank you all the panelists with us today. I now hand over it to Dr. Shivani, who can invite our presiding officer and start with the award presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mrinal, for moderating the session. Now I would like to take an opportunity to introduce our worthy awardees. And for our first award of Arogya Seaboyd Award Innovation and Enterprise Leadership goes to Mr. Simon Gallagher. He is a General Manager, Cicada, India. It brings him over 18 years of experience across pharmaceutical companies in England and Singapore. As a country head for Cicada, India, he focuses on strengthening the business and building reputation as innovative, value-based global biopharmaceutical company. The key priority for Simon as a leader is access to potentially life-changing treatments and medical products for patients in the country. So I request Shri Shaurya Dovalji to kindly confer the award. Sir, can we have you?
Here, and thank you. And I presume this is the only way I can do it virtually is by congratulating Simon for a great achievement. Thank you. Well done, Mr. Simon.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure actually just being here today alongside such esteemed colleagues. And I think I'd just like to take a moment to sincerely thank CIBRD as well and the supporting organisations for this prestigious recognition. I'm truly honoured to receive it on behalf of Cicada, and I think it reflects our passion, our commitment, and our contributions to patients and the healthcare ecosystem in India. So, a special thank you to the awarding committee, and I think the award will continue to inspire us to continue to drive innovation across the entire healthcare ecosystem for the benefit of patients in India. If I may, I'd like to just briefly share some background of the history of Cicada Pharmaceuticals. So I think, in the kind introduction, you mentioned that Cicada itself it's a really highly patient-focused, value-based R&D driven biopharmaceutical company. And it's highly focused on innovation. We've been talking about innovation today, and it truly is. We have an immense R&D system that focuses on bringing improved quality of life and standards of care for patients worldwide. And just about the company itself, it's quite unique. It's our passion, our pursuit of life-changing treatments it's deeply rooted in our distinguished history, which is in Japan since 1781. So it brings a greater than a 240-year legacy. So almost 2.5 centuries from the founding of our company. I always talk about the question that we all have as employees, which is how can we do more for our patients? In terms of our global footprint, we're present in 80 countries. We employ 50,000 people, and in India we're recognised as a top employer. And our manufacturing footprint covers 31 manufacturing sites. In terms of our R&D engine, we're highly focused on 4 therapeutic areas, which is oncology, rare diseases, neuroscience, gastroenterology. And then in addition to this, we also make targeted R&D investments in plasma-derived therapies and vaccines. If we just look at Cicada in India as well, the presence in India, we've been present since 2011. So our journey less mature than our global organisation, but we've specifically been serving patients across the rare diseases of haemophilia, Gaucher, Fabry's and Hunter syndrome, as well as IBD disorders such as ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. And then further to that, we also serve patients with our life-saving plasma-derived therapies, which are commonly used for liver transplants and critical care. Coming back to the picture I was painting earlier about the future's bright for India, I believe it's also bright for Cicada in India. So looking ahead, we're looking actually to further introduce innovative therapies in rare diseases, so more rare disease products, oncology, and vaccines, starting with dengue vaccine, which is incredibly exciting, and there's a huge unmet medical need and disease burden that we're looking to address in India. So I think towards our endeavour, just to talk a little bit more about improving patients' lives and the caregivers. Cicada as a company, we're committed through two critical models, which ultimately, when we've touched upon this a little bit earlier in the call, which are partnerships and product innovation. So just let me, if I may, let me share a few examples with you. So at Cicada, we've conceptualized an initiative which is titled the Blueprint for Rare Diseases in India, and this was done again through a very collaborative interface, range of stakeholders, including the Ministry of Health, central and state level. We engage with patient groups, the Notified Centre of Excellence, NGOs, and industry bodies. And through this highly collaborative initiative, it has undoubtedly strengthened, I think, the nation's commitment towards better health outcomes for all. And I think we've managed to achieve that through a focused and solution-based approach and shared responsibilities, which I touched upon earlier. We've also invested, when we switch into technology, we've invested ourselves deeply into technology-based solutions. And this is with a focus to improve ease of access and coverage to healthcare by trying to connect healthcare providers and patients. One example, which you can see on the slide, is MyPKFit, which essentially is a technology-based solution that's designed for ease of tracking and monitoring of doses for patients living with haemophilia. Another example that we have is the budget impact model, which really helps patients to compare different therapies and understand their diseases better, so they're able to take informed decisions. And then besides this, we've also have innovative personalized patient access program, which is specifically tailored to support vulnerable patients, following means-based assessments. So these are just a few of the initiatives that we've been successfully implementing in India, and we have a lot more. If you're interested in the technology piece, you can find them on our global website. So I appreciate it. I only have a short time. So in closing, I'd really like to thank everybody for this prestigious award, and we're going to remain fully committed to work across the entire healthcare ecosystem to drive innovation with a laser sharp focus to ultimately deliver one objective, which is to help patients lead their lives with the best quality of life possible. So thank you again for the award. I'm sure the team will be absolutely thrilled, but thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we have another award of Leadership Excellence, and it goes to Dr. Jace Bamra. He is the chairman of British Association of Physicians of Indian origin, and he is a senior consultant psychiatrist in Manchester, honorary reader at University of Manchester. He is director and council member of British Medical Association, trustee of NCP charity for disadvantaged people, African and Caribbean mental health services. He has received numerous awards for services towards mental health in Manchester
Yes. Yes. Congratulations, Bamra Saab, this great achievement. Heartiest congratulations to you from all of us here in India.
Thank you very much. Whoa, wow. Well, this was most unexpected, but I'm very privileged. I think this is an award really not for me, but you know the many organizations that I represent. These awards are never one person's effort, but to come from Tech4seva, I invented a smartphone app for the National Health Service. And I have a great interest in technology. So, you know, this will go a long way towards that. But I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled as well. So what can I say? Vrinderji, Tech4seva, and I'm a very proud member of, board member of the Central of Innovation of Biodesign, because, you know, there's so much going on. And I come back to that word that Meenakshi used, jugaad. If there's no English translation of jugaad, to be truthful, and that's what I've learned from my roots in India. That every place where you have any challenge or any difficulty, jugaad will get you out of it. And technical jugaads are the way forward. Thank you very much. I'm very humbled. I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have another Leadership Excellence Award for Sri Kamindir Kumarji. He is Director Telecommunication Consultants India Limited. His previous assignments included GM, GBM and ED in TCIL, MD in ICSIL on deputation and the General Manager in LG Systems India Limited. He has also worked as the Chief Public Information Officer in TCIL. So, can we have Sri Shaurya Dovalji again to confer this award to Sri Kamindir Kumarji?
Yes, Kamindir Kumarji, congratulations to you for this great achievement. You know, this is a matter of great pride to be. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Manalji and Dr. Garg. And I'm really delighted and privileged to be a part of this panel, hearing very learned speakers and panelists. Yeah, to come to the point immediately, I'm basically a technology person with my IIT and DRDO scientist background. And now with present organization TCIL, we have been doing telemedicine since 2006. We did the first pilot project in Ethiopia. In fact, it was Dr. Abdul Kalam's vision, wherein we provided telemedicine and teleeducation to all 48 countries of Africa successfully on the technology like connecting on IPLC, international private lease circuits, and then satellite connectivity. We provided both telemedicine and teleeducation to all African countries in telemedicine, teleconsultation, as well as continuous medical education to their teachers, to their professors, paramedical staff, and all that. So that part we continued in phase 1. It was a Government of India initiative to support African countries, wherein we were the technology partners of Ministry of External Affairs. Then in 2018, we again took up the phase 2 with the technology improvement. And now we are in the process of establishing that big dream to all African countries, again providing telemedicine and teleeducation successfully. Till now, we have completed about 18 installations in various countries, but it will continue to all 54 countries to Africa. TCIL, you will be pleased to know, we are the technology partners of Government of India and many prestigious projects, including BharatNet project, the NOFN, the National Fiber Optical Network. TCL made the footprints for the complete consultancy for this project, which is going on, and the technology and innovation part that I have been listening. Though I was not a panelist, so I didn't come because I didn't have the permission from Dr. Garg. But I was enjoying those talks, and it is really my subject because it is not only this telemedicine, teleeducation, even in financial inclusion. You will be pleased to know we connected 130,000 rural post offices into digital banking hubs successfully. And then undersea cable also, Andaman to Chennai connectivity, undersea cable, it was TCL who did the consultancy for that project. Now Lakshadweep and Cochin, that connectivity again undersea cable. I was coming to the point that again it is a technology that you have to improve upon to support. Otherwise, you know, all these are they are only the dreams. You are seeing the virtual platforms, now it is the reality. Every day without, now it has become a part of our life. But you have to have the standards. Like I have been listening to some of the panelists, that standards are to be maintained. And innovation part, as I can see from my IIT background, things are changing, sir. Now every new student, he has got a real inclination towards innovation, and he or she is doing a great job. I can tell you honestly. Though the days have gone when you used to just come out of the colleges and going to attend the jobs and doing their jobs only. Now they are totally different temperament, I'll say, and that you can foresee in the coming generation. And India has got a very, very bright future supported by the government. I will also mention some of the government schemes which are really promoting for the entrepreneurship also. Mr. Murthy, I know him personally with his technical background, now fully making it a successful entrepreneurship in the name of Dhanush. He is doing a lot of great jobs. And telemedicine, he has developed many good apps, which I personally see that his team is doing wonderful job. So I like to compliment him at this forum and from this platform. But Government of India also, like Atmanirbhar Bharat, Self-Reliant India, then PLI, Production Link Incentives, Make in India, Make for the World. Because I, being a part of the Vice Chairman of TEPC, that is Telecom Equipment and Services Promotion Council, we have been doing a lot of promotion for exporting our, though I am talking particularly in telecom, but it has become IT sector has become a part of any development or any project for that matter. We are contributing in one way or the other. So again, I like to give my sincere thanks to the organizers who give me this opportunity and give me this award, though perhaps I don't deserve it, because lots of, in the panelists felt that lots of talents and lots of experienced guys were there. But with all my humble submission, I once again thank to the organizers. And technology part, I would like to say technology is an essence to bring together world's people, machine and devices. And you will see in the times to come, like 5G and IoT, you may have a very closer feel of it very, very soon. And India is also trying to come in a big way. Though initially Government of India wanted to take the lead because 4G, 3G, we were not the leaders. IIT Madras, we made a test bed also, but somehow again, we could not come to the front end very fast. So it took some time. But yes, 5G, we are going to come in a big way. And as compared to other nations also, we would remain in the race. So with all these schemes, the government is supporting. I think India will definitely get a very respectable place in the world. And these schemes are supporting the cause for all these developments. And be it climate change or it's healthcare or education, transportation, the technology plays a very, very pivotal role, as we all agree. In fact, it helps the world to act together, in my opinion. Until all these technologies, they make the life simple and make the life enjoyable, we are not complete in our dreams. Like I'll mention the couplet of a Hindi poet that सृजन है अधूरा अगर विश्व भर में कहीं भी किसी द्वार पर है उदासी, because it is not complete till you cover it to every door, every house. The creativity is incomplete if the smile is not there. That's what my feeling is. So technology will play a great role, and India has a very bright future. And I compliment Dr. Garg once again, and very good comparing by Mrinalji and all my panelists. I would like to convey my sincere, heartiest thanks and wish you good luck, and any service from me, please feel free to contact me anytime. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
So now we have Shri Shaurya Gopalji as our presiding over guest. He is the managing director of a Singapore-based wealth management firm. He's an investment banker for GE Capital and Morgan Stanley. He's awarded Udyog Ratna Award in 2012 for his contribution to the power sector. He's the Eisenhower Fellow from India for 2015. And he's also awarded with its Pride of India Award for his contribution as think tank and youth icon for entrepreneurs. Sir, although we have already heard you, but we would like to hear some motivational concluding remarks from you, sir.
I would like to say is a great initiative by the organizers, well-deserved award for the awardees, and I hope this kind of contribution and conversation continues in the country. And nothing is so good that it cannot be improved. So these kind of forums provide a way for all of us, all the participants here, to think of newer ideas. All my this is a unique format. I have never seen awards being given online. I did not know how to do that, but a man learns every day. So thank you once again.
Good, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Varinder Garg for the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Shivani. From the deep core of my heart and on the behalf of entire our team at Vigyan Bharati, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, Center for Innovation and Biodesign, and Tech4seva, we are honored, privileged, and indebted to all the dignitaries, especially Shri Shaurya Gopalji, who not due to his professional achievements, but due to being a young icon for all of us, is a source of motivation for all of us. Mr. Simon Gallagher, who is doing a marvelous job in the Cicada front in field of rare diseases. Dr. Jace Bamra, who is not only a distinguished medical professional but also a social worker and is doing a big job in UK and is the pride of our country. Shri Kamindir, who is contributing a big contribution silently in the telemedicine revolution, and from Africa to India, they are bringing telemedicine to the common man by revolutionizing the technical aspect. And all our esteemed panelists, Shri Arup Joshi, Shri DNS Murthy, Shri Neeraj Sharan, Dr. Meenakshi Jolly, we are all thankful to you. We are honored with your presence, and we are honored by honoring today's awardees, because honoring a real hero, a real achiever from the, I will not say hand, from the word of a real achiever, it's a pride, it's a privilege for us. So we are again, once again, I extend my best wishes to all of you, and I formally thanks to all of you. We are honored, we are obliged, and we are assured with your presence and with your inputs that the platform we are trying to promote is going to be guided by you people, is going to be blessed by you people, and we will be also able to contribute a little bit with all of you on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jace sir. Pleasure virtually meeting you.
Likewise. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
वो